Welcome back for another EFD video where we're celebrating 10 wonder kids who are finally living up to their early hype. Let's get into it. 10. Nuno Tavares. Nuno Tavares was seen as a young player with great promise who has developed very well when he first signed for Arsenal from Benfica for a deal worth £8 million. The 21-year-old left-back made 28 appearances for Arsenal last season and even picked up a goal along the way. However, his tenure at the Emirates would prove turbulent. He suffered 2 half-time substitutions, including one in an FA Cup defeat to Nottingham Forest, during which Arteta was pictured screaming at him in Arsenal's All or Nothing documentary. With the likes of Alexander Zinchenko being signed, the Portuguese international was sent on loan to Marseille after a single season with the club. However, Tavares is thriving in Marseille. Scoring 3 goals in his first 4 appearances in Liga, he has been named one of the 5 revelations to enter French football by French publication Quest France. Even Marseille boss Igor Tudor claims he sometimes doesn't even realise his qualities. If he continues at this pace, he risks tormenting more than one Ligan defence. Fortunately for Arsenal, Marseille don't have an option to buy after the loan. After all, it wouldn't hurt the Gunners to have another rejuvenated left-back in their ranks. 9. Umar Sadiq. Next up, we have the curious career of Umar Sadiq. Despite only being 25, the Nigerian forward is now playing for his 11th different club, after a journey that has taken him from Italy to Spain via the Netherlands, Scotland and Serbia. Yet few could have predicted Sadiq's nomadic adventures, especially after being signed for Roma back in 2016. He earned a switch to the Giallorossi after 2 goals in a 6-game loan spell, but Sadiq was sent straight on the road, commencing 6 separate loan spells from Bologna to Partizan Belgrade. However, a move to Almeria in October 2020 would change his life forever. The Super Eagles international was prolific in the Segunda Division, netting 38 across 2 seasons. His goals helped the ambitious Rojiblancos earn promotion to La Liga, where Sadiq hit the ground running with 2 goals in his first 3 appearances this term. Real Sociedad was so impressed they swooped to sign him on deadline day, reinvesting 20 million of the 70 million from the Alexander Isak sale on the 25-year-old. A debut goal against Atletico Madrid hints at a prosperous and well-earned future for Sadiq in the Basque Country. 8. Ozan Kabak. It took barely 2.5 years from Ozan Kabak making his senior debut for Galatasaray in May 2018 to turning out for reigning Premier League champions Liverpool in early 2021. Just 6 months after his debut with Gala, he signed for Stuttgart, and 6 months after that, Schalke snapped up the teenage centre-back in a €15 million deal. However, his impressive rise came to a screeching halt as part of a Königsblauen side that was one of the worst in Bundesliga history. So much so that halfway through the 2020-21 campaign, he was allowed to join Liverpool on loan. He made barely a dozen appearances on Merseyside, and Klopp rejected the chance to sign the Turkish international permanently for €30 million. No surprises there. Not willing to play in the second tier of German football, he returned to the Premier League with Norwich, which also didn't do his reputation any favours. After 18 months away on loan, Schalke finally cashed in on Kabak, selling him to Hoffenheim this summer for just €5 million. Yet it's here that the 22-year-old is finally thriving, playing every minute and achieving a career-high 4.2 defensive actions per 90, as his new club have made their strongest start to a top-flight campaign in almost a decade. 7. Gabriel Martinelli. In a side that currently ranks as the youngest in the Premier League this season, whilst also topping the table, it was almost inevitable that we could find an Arsenal player that was finally making the step up. And that person is Gabriel Martinelli. Not that the Brazilian was ever necessarily disappointing, we were just yet to see what he was truly capable of. After all, the Gunners paid over £6 million for an 18-year-old in 2018 whose only senior experience came in his native 4th tier, and the attacker failed to land meaningful minutes in England until last campaign thanks to a handful of injuries. 6 goals and 6 assists in the Premier League was enough to show what he could do, and this season he has certainly exceeded expectations. Now a starter under Mikel Arteta, Martinelli is already halfway to last year's goal total, attempting 3 shots a game and completing 2.3 dribbles per 90, a figure that matches both Vinicius Jr. and Leroy Sané. Arsenal beat a host of clubs to his signature 3 years ago, and now it's finally paying dividends. It certainly looks like a very worthwhile investment, especially if they can maintain their title challenge. 6. Enes Unal. Way back in 2013, Enes Unal made waves by becoming the youngest scorer in Turkish Super League history. What's more, the 16-year-old did it just 3 minutes into his Bursaspor debut against none other than Galatasaray. 7 goals and 53 appearances later, and the young forward was snapped up by Manchester City, from where the sky really looked like the limit. But except for a prolific loan spell with FC Twente during the 2016-17 campaign, Unal has struggled to live up to expectations. A permanent switch to Villarreal failed to catch fire, meaning he spent the majority majority of his time with the Yellow Submarine away on loans at Levante and Real Valladolid. But everything has changed for Unal since signing with Getafe in 2020. It took him a year to find his feet, but over the last 2 campaigns, the 25-year-old has been one of the most consistent forwards in La Liga. Last season, he hit 16 across the campaign and is already on 2 for the new season, including a sensational free kick against Real Sociedad. The figurehead of Geta's attack, their dreams of survival this season rest firmly on the Turkish international's shoulders. 5. Florentino Luis. You can always trust Benfica to keep the talent flowing, and next out of their epic production line is the defensive midfielder Florentino Luis. Yet it's taken a little longer for the Portuguese youngster to really hit his stride. Now 23, Florentino spent the last 2 seasons away on loan, first with Monaco and then Getafe. But his time in France yielded just 11 appearances, and things didn't really improve with Getafe, only starting 9 of his 22 La Liga outings. Still, 3 tackles and interceptions a game in Spain offered glimpses of his potential. Roll on this summer, and Benfica sold Gedson Fernandes to Besiktas and sent Julian Weigl on loan to Borussia Mönchengladbach, opening the door to Florentino to feature regularly, and he seized his opportunity with both hands. The Portuguese under-21 star has started 6 times for the current Primeira Liga leaders, producing a mammoth 6.7 tackles and interceptions per 90 while attempting 24.7 pressures and winning 2.2 aerial duels a match. He has played every minute of their Champions League campaign too, helping Benfica to wins over Maccabi Haifa and Juventus. It's a stunning turn of fortune for Florentino and good news for Benfica, who now have another profitable sensation on their hands. 4. Alex Iwobi. Whilst Alex Iwobi did become a regular under Arsene Wenger and then Unai Emery, he never quite became an attacking force many anticipated, failing to top 2,000 minutes in a Premier League season, something he also didn't achieve in his first 2 campaigns at Everton, following a £27 million move there in 2019. But it was Frank Lampard's arrival at Goodison Park that has transformed the 26-year-old's career. Having initially been used as an attacking player at Everton, the English manager began playing the Nigerian international in more reserve positions. This season, that has developed into a central midfield role, playing every minute of the Toffees fixtures to date. This is despite them signing 3 other central midfielders during the summer, including James Garner and Amadou Onana, giving Lampard a choice between 7 different players for that role. But it is Iwobi who's often the first name on the team sheet, putting up 3 defensive actions a game whilst also creating more chances than any of his teammates. It certainly took a while, but it looks like Iwobi has finally found his role. 3. Lee Kang-In. 2019 was quite the year for Lee Kang-In. He made his La Liga debut for Valencia at just 17, became the youngest South Korean to feature in the Champions League, and won the Under-20 World Cup Golden Ball as his nation finished runners-up, beating a certain Erling Haaland to the individual accolades. However, his career never really got going with Valencia, racking up just over 1,700 minutes from 2019 to 2021, and appearing mainly from the bench. Lee managed just 6 goal involvements and was placed on the transfer list ahead of the 2021-22 season, eventually moving on a free to Mallorca. And whilst his debut campaign in the Balearics left a lot to be desired, the 21-year-old has finally found his mojo this season. It took him just 4 games to match last season's output of 1 goal and 3 assists, whilst his shots, key passes and dribbles per 90 are all around double his previous career highs. Now he's established himself as a starter. His rich form has earned him a recall for the South Korean national side, and with the World Cup just months away, he'll fancy his chances of featuring in Qatar. 2. Raphaelliao. Okay, we're slightly cheating here, as Raphaelliao has been a star for a while. After all, it's been 3 years since AC Milan forked out €30 million to sign him from Lille. But there is no denying that in 2022, the Portuguese international has blossomed into one of the most devastating wingers in Europe. Leao's output exploded last term, scoring 11 and assisting 8. That included 15 goal involvements from January onwards, helping Milan power towards a stunning Scudetto. He looked untouchable, leading Serie A for carries into the final third, ranking 6th for shots and 3rd for goal-creating actions per 90. That was impressive, but the 23-year-old has hit a whole new level this season. Already on 6 goal involvements and 6 league appearances, Leao is producing a stunning 4.8 shots per 90 plus 5.4 carries and passes into the penalty area. Transfermarkt now values him at €70 million, comfortably the most in the Milan squad, and on current form he looks worth every penny. But Rossoneri fans fear not, as recent reports suggest Leao is keen on signing a new deal beyond his current end date of 2024. Should that happen, and we could have a genuine Milan legend in the making. 1. Rodrigo. Following the capture of Vinicius Jr. in 2018, Real Madrid dipped back into the Brazilian market a year later by snapping up the teenage sensation Rodrigo from Santos in another €45 million deal. But it hasn't always been easy for the attacker in the Spanish capital, only scoring 4 goals in his first 52 appearances. He was even referred to as Gareth Bale in the shadows, as he missed 12 games in the 2020-21 La Liga season due to injury. All that though would change last season, as Rodrigo became a hero with his Champions League performances. Following 2 goals in the group stages, the Brazilian shone in the knockout rounds, netting against Chelsea, then scoring twice in a dramatic 90 seconds against Manchester City in the semi-finals to turn the tie on its head. He would go on to claim his first winner's medal in the competition. Rodrigo was finally showing his worth, yet he's only got better this term. He's already scored 3 in La Liga as well as getting 2 assists, and looks like a different beast when running at defenders. The 21-year-old is also back in the Brazil setup, earning minutes in a recent friendly win against Ghana. Should he make a splash in the World Cup, then this really could be the year of Rodrigo. So that was our look at 10 wonder kids finally coming good. Who have we missed out though? Let us know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to EuroFootball Daily with notifications on, and we'll see you next time.